Okay, so I do believe you are taking TOEFL
Yes,
classes, right? Okay, and I heard that you already took the TOEFL exam before as well. Have
yes,
you? Okay, I see, I see. So you just have a certain target that you want to achieve, right?
yes. I want
Ah,
my score can
mm,
able to get like 80 above.
80 above. Okay. On your previous, like the last time you took the exam, like what was your score?
Or oh, my last score is 64.
64.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For speaking, how much was it, if you remember?
Oh, my speaking score is always um like 17.
17. Over, that's I think over 30. 30, right? Am I right?
And the full score is 30. Yes.
30. Okay. I see, I see. All right. So I do believe you had a class with teacher Ria. Oh, no, no, no.
Yes.
Teacher Isa last
And
time for speaking.
both of them. Yes.
Okay. Okay. This one is quite complicated because you have a lot of teacher,
Yes.
actually. What I can advise you, Vivian, is try to have just one teacher per skill. So let's say one specific teacher for writing, one for speaking. That's it. Yeah. Why?
Okay.
Because I teach might be different from what teacher Isa or teacher Ria teaches. Okay, and it makes us confused because we use different books actually.
Oh, oh,
So
okay.
your class with teacher Isa might not be the same as what you will be having with me. And sometimes teacher Isa is not around or I am not around, so we cannot communicate on like what's your next lesson and stuff. Okay.
I
So
see.
that is also like a little bit of a concern on our part. Okay. But yeah, we will just try our best to communicate so that you don't miss any class and stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, let's just discuss how we are going to have your TOEFL classes. Okay, so um I think you used a different, like teacher Isa told me that what's this? You want to practice alternate alternately, is that correct?
Yes.
Like today should be integrated, then next week should be independent. Is it like that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That might be a little bit difficult for the teacher because yeah, as I've mentioned, we use different books, right?
Okay. Yes.
So and if I remember correctly, there is only one independent task, that is question one, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
the rest two questions two to four are all integrated
Yes.
tasks. Okay. So in that case, probably you can just choose one teacher for
Yes.
speaking. Okay. Do not have lots of teachers because they will use different books. You will get confused and it's difficult for the teacher to trace as well. Okay. So just
Um,
that one. Okay.
okay.
All right.
Actually, my first TOEFL class is began at last
Mm.
Thursday. Thursday.
Okay. With teacher Ria, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. And
Ah,
my second teacher is Miss um
Isa.
yes. So
Isa.
um
Mm-hmm.
Chris Lee, you are the third one
Mm-hmm.
teacher
Mm-hmm.
of my
Mm.
TOEFL speaking.
Mm.
So I will decide
Mm-hmm.
to choose which teacher is I want
Mm.
to practice with her.
Sorry, come
After
again. You want the teacher. You will choose which teacher.
one teacher
Uh-huh.
and to practice with my TOEFL
Okay.
speaking.
Okay. So you will choose one teacher.
Yes,
Okay. All right. So yeah,
I
just
have
to be
to
clear.
try.
Mm-hmm.
And yes,
Okay. I see. I see. All right. So hold on. Let me just share my screen first.
okay, of course.
Okay. All right. So what's going to happen is I think you already know because you have taken the TOEFL exam before. So I think you already know, yeah, the breakdown of the scores, Vivian, and yeah, the tests as well. Okay. So what's going to happen in our class is
Mhm.
I think Teacher Ria mentioned that you want to focus on one task per class, right? Okay, that is okay with me. We can do that actually. So, what's going to happen today is we're gonna have question one, integrated task, or I'm sorry, independent task. Is that okay with you, or do you want a different
Um,
one?
I today I want to practice the integrated one.
Okay,
As
integrated
it,
one. Okay, which question? Because we have three questions for integrated.
um,
Two,
maybe
three, or four?
I think four.
Four.
I want to
Okay. All
practice
right.
four.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. All right. So what's going to happen, Vivian, is I'm gonna give you a pre-test, like one question, and then
Okay.
after that, we're gonna discuss how you answer, and then after that, we are just going to, like try other questions as well. Okay. All right. So let me just share my screen a little bit. Okay. All right. So I think you already know the time that you need for TOEFL, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me just. Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, for question four, if you remember, you only have, let's say, 20 seconds to prepare and you have 1 minute to speak in the class. All right. Is that the one that they mentioned to you as well? Is it the
Yes.
same? Okay, I see, I see. So are you ready? This is gonna be the pre-test. So after that, we're gonna discuss. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me just check the audio if it's playing. Okay. All right. So shall we begin with
Okay.
it? Okay. All right. Let's try to let me play first.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can you see my screen for this one?
Yes. I can see it.
Okay. All right. So, yep. Let's start. Good luck, Vivian.
Okay.
Carbon
Thank you.
dioxide is a chemical compound formed by the combination of one carbon atom and two atoms of oxygen. It's a naturally occurring greenhouse gas, which some people believe may contribute to the warming of the atmosphere. As such, there are numerous attempts to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that humans release into the atmosphere. Here are a couple of ways people are attempting to do that. We create the vast majority of our electricity by burning fossil fuels, particularly coal. However, burning coal releases a large amount of carbon dioxide into the air. The best way to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide, as well as various pollutants that the burning of coal releases, entering the atmosphere is to capture or clean it before it ever leaves the factory. Many coal-burning power plants have therefore begun utilizing filtration systems. These devices can trap enormous quantities of carbon dioxide before it's ever emitted. There are several devices. For instance, air filters can capture carbon dioxide, and devices called scrubbers can clean emitted substances so that less carbon dioxide and fewer harmful pollutants are released. Another method of reducing the amount of carbon dioxide is to plant trees near factories. Why trees? Well, trees require carbon dioxide to undergo photosynthesis. So, the more trees there are, the less carbon dioxide there is in the atmosphere. Another benefit of this method is that trees produce oxygen in its breathable form. So, they simultaneously rid the atmosphere of carbon dioxide and improve the quality of the air. Trees also absorb various particles released by factories, so they further contribute to reducing the amount of air pollution in certain regions. Using points and examples from the talk, explain how people are trying to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Okay, you have 20 seconds to prepare. 20 seconds, begin. Good luck. Okay. All right. Time's up. So you have 1 minute to talk about your answer. Vivian, you may begin. Good luck.
In the class, the professor mentioned that human will use some methods to reduce the carbon dioxide. In the first example, the professor mentioned that um, some the human will use the air filter. This machine can clean the carbon dioxide before it released to the atmosphere. And the second example, the professor also mentions that the human also can plant the trees so that the trees can um, absorb some carbon dioxide. So the air will improve the quality. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your answer. Let me just check. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's start first by yeah, how was the question, Vivian?
The question,
How was it? Was it difficult, easy, so? What do you
mm,
think?
I think is a little bit difficult because
Mm-hmm.
in the topic, in the lecture, I
Mm-hmm.
have some of the term I can't really understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just catch all the points I
Mm-hmm.
can understand and
Mm-hmm.
write it down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I
Try
see. I
to
see.
organize the
Mm-hmm.
answer. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see. All right. Well, that was a good try. So yeah, what you need
Mm,
to do is yeah, you just have to be, very familiar, or you have to make yourself familiar with especially scientific terms, because
oh,
we all know TOEFL is a little bit of into scientific, not general
yeah.
topics, right? So we will try to do our best on that. Okay. All right. But what I noticed is you're able to use the template. I think you were given a template before, or
Yes.
okay, you practiced using the template. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So normally what you're going to talk about, it depends on the topic. Okay. So in here, the instruction is using points and examples from the talk, explain how people are trying to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So we'll all focus on just the audio because we don't have the reading passage for question 4, right?
Yes.
So how did you start your answer again?
Um, okay. I said,
Mm-hmm.
uh, professor in the class mentions
Mm-hmm.
that how the human reduce the carbon dioxide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, somehow correct. So you don't need to say in class, okay, because
Oh,
every word adds time. Okay,
mhm.
so you can just say the lecturer or the professor explains
Oh,
blah
okay.
blah blah. Okay, all right. Okay, explains how people try to reduce carbon dioxide by giving two
Mm,
examples, right?
oh,
Yes. Okay, first this one, first part. Okay, our
okay.
first example. So first he said humans can use air filter. I think you mentioned that
Yes.
one, and it can clean the carbon dioxide before it releases to the atmosphere. There was a vocabulary word mentioned, which was the scrubber, but I think you weren't able to highlight that, which is totally fine as well.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so that is okay. And then for the second one, he mentions that people can, I think you said humans. I think it's better to say people. Okay.
Oh, people can
Uh,
plant the trees.
yeah. When you say humans, you're talking scientifically in
Um,
here. Yeah, but it's okay. It's totally fine. Okay. All right. So, but normally we use people. Okay. All right. So people can plant trees to what do you call that? and absorb carbon dioxide. Okay, there is a keyword there which is photosynthesis. Yeah, this is the process where the tree uses
Oh,
carbon dioxide to create oxygen, right? Which
yes.
was one of the highlights of the second example. Okay. So you can just say that people also plant trees because trees need carbon dioxide to produce oxygen. Okay. So the more trees, the more carbon dioxide is absorbed by the trees. Okay. All right. Something like that. However, your conclusion is like hanging. Yes. Okay. Like you just said, that's it. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
because I
that
didn't say the conclusion.
yeah, because that would sound very awkward actually. So you
Oh,
need to properly end your what do you call that? Your sentence. So you can just go back to the first part. So you can just say,
oh,
so that's how people try to reduce the carbon dioxide. Okay, just that one. So whatever your topic is will also be your conclusion. Okay.
okay,
Yeah, just to not really sound awkward when you talk about your topic. Okay.
okay,
All right. So yeah, we have to be very careful. So if you hear scientific words, you have to write them down because they are highlight words. They are very important words like photosynthesis, air filters, scrubbers, carbon dioxide, oxygen. They are keywords about the topic. Okay, so try to write them down. Okay.
okay,
All right. For the time, it was okay, but yeah, how you ended it was a little bit, yeah, we need to work on it. Okay. Yeah, but for 1 minute, that's okay. That is
okay,
totally fine. Okay. You just have to be very mindful with transitional devices. First, second, then if you forget these, you can just say first and then next.
um,
Next also, then after that, after which, finally, yeah, just to really have transitional devices. Transitional devices are very important
okay.
when
I
you
have
are
a
going to.
question.
Sure.
Okay, can I say first example, blah, blah, blah,
That
and
is too long. Too long. You can, because when you say first, you already mentioned examples here.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
So,
that means that after saying this, you are going to talk about the example. Okay. So
okay,
just go directly. First, yes,
mhm,
this and that. Okay. All right.
okay,
But if you talk fast, that's okay. You can say, first example, he said, he mentioned, blah, blah, blah. That is still okay. Okay. Yeah, it is optional. So we will just try to check if there will be improvements with your transitions. Okay. All right. Shall we try one more time for the same question?
okay, of course.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, yep, here it is. And let's begin. So, let's start with listening. Good luck.
Carbon dioxide is a chemical compound formed by the combination of one carbon atom and two atoms of oxygen. It's a naturally occurring greenhouse gas, which some people believe may contribute to the warming of the atmosphere. As such, there are numerous attempts to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide that humans release into the atmosphere. Here are a couple of ways people are attempting to do that. We create the vast majority of our electricity by burning fossil fuels, particularly coal. However, burning coal releases a large amount of carbon dioxide into the air. The best way to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide, as well as various pollutants that the burning of coal releases, entering the atmosphere is to capture or clean it before it ever leaves the factory. Many coal-burning power plants have therefore begun utilizing filtration systems. These devices can trap enormous quantities of carbon dioxide before it's ever emitted. There are several devices. For instance, air filters can capture carbon dioxide, and devices called scrubbers can clean emitted substances so that less carbon dioxide and fewer harmful pollutants are released. Another method of reducing the amount of carbon dioxide is to plant trees near factories. Why trees? Well, trees require carbon dioxide to undergo photosynthesis. So, the more trees there are, the less carbon dioxide there is in the atmosphere. Another benefit of this method is that trees produce oxygen in its breathable form. So, they simultaneously rid the atmosphere of carbon dioxide and improve the quality of the air. Trees also absorb various particles released by factories, so they further contribute to reducing the amount of air pollution in certain regions. Using points and examples from the talk, explain how people are trying to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
Okay, you have 20 seconds to prepare. You may start. Good luck. Okay, time's up. All right, are you ready, Vivienne?
Yes.
Okay, let's give it a try. You may begin.
In the class, the professor mentions how the people reduce the carbon dioxide problem. First, he mentions that the people will use a kind of machine called air filter to clean the carbon dioxide before it released to the atmosphere. And second one, the professor mentions the people will plant the trees near the factory because the trees can work with photosynthesize, and this can reduce the carbon dioxide problem. And for all these examples can explain how people reduce the carbon dioxide problem.
Okay, all right. Okay, the last part was quite slow. So I think that was the part where think you're not used to giving the conclusion. Okay, so yeah, it was totally fine. You're able to use scientific phrases like the photosynthesis. It was there. And then yeah, you're able to follow the template as well. So we'll just try to work on how to, practice more on that. Okay, but yeah, for the time, yeah, we need to adjust a little bit. Not really fast, but probably the last part, like the conclusion, make it shorter. You mentioned like what was the last part, the conclusion? For that reason, what was that?
For all the examples,
Mm-hmm.
they explain how people reduce the carbon dioxide problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is totally long. Okay, so you can just say so. Just repeat your title. So that's how people. So that's how people try to reduce carbon dioxide. Right? Very short, actually. Yeah. So whatever the title, that's how you will give a conclusion. This one is okay. These examples demonstrate, but yeah, you'll have to use different um phrases also. So you can just go with your own phrases. Okay. Yes, we'll try on how you will be able to answer. Okay. All right. So what else we are going to do today, Vivian, is we will try to practice other examples also. Would that be okay with you? Okay. All right. Let me just find the audio for some of the other exercises. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me just play the audio first and here it is. Good luck.
Humans have been building arches ever since the time of ancient Rome. See here and here. I often wonder whether the Romans got the idea from nature, since there are naturally occurring arches. Anyway, In geology, an arch is any rock formation that has the appearance of, well, an arch. Natural arches usually occur due to the action of erosion. They mostly form along coastlines and in deserts. Here's a picture of a coastal arch. Coastal arches are formed by the force of water. They may be created when a headland is at around a 90-degree angle to the waves hitting the shore. Now, a headland juts out from the main line of cliffs. Over time, the waves beat on the rocks until they wear it away, which forms a cave. When the waves erode entirely through the cave and break out through the other side, a natural arch forms. Sometimes several arches form in a line, like this. Over time, many arches collapse and leave lines of what appear to be stacked rocks in the water. The other main type of natural arch is produced by weathering effects, such as blowing sand and the action of frozen water. In deserts, blowing sand acts like a sandblaster, so over a long period of time, it can erode rocks to form arches. Another way desert arches form is due to water. Water seeps into small cracks in rocks and then freezes when temperatures drop at night. When the water becomes ice, it expands, so it causes some rocks to break off. Over time, that can produce natural arches like this one here.
Using points and examples from the talk, explain 2 ways that natural arches are formed.
You have 20 seconds to prepare. 20 seconds starts. Good luck. Okay, time's up. All right, you have 60 seconds to present. Vivienne, you may start. Good luck.
The lecture is mentioned that how the natural arch formed. The professor mentioned that the natural arch usually form in the coastline, and the wave will beat the rock so that the natural arch will form. And in the other example, the professor mentions that the weather is one of the reasons to form the arch. And because the weather like wind will blow the sand so that in the long term, the arch will begin to form in a natural way. And she also mentions that the frozen water.
It's okay. It's totally fine. Okay, all right. So, I think you were supposed to say more things, Vivian, but yeah, it's already time. Okay. Can you It's okay. Can you try to continue the blow by the wind part, please?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the second example, the
Mm-hmm.
professor mentions that weather is one of the reasons that the arch formed.
Mm-hmm.
The wind will blow with sand so that in the long term, the natural arch can form.
Mm-hmm.
And moreover, the frozen water,
Mm-hmm.
one of the reason, because the small rock
Mm-hmm.
will frozen in the cold temperature,
Mm-hmm.
and when the temperature is begin to decrease,
Mm-hmm.
the rock will break,
Mm-hmm.
and so that the nature arch will form.
Mm-hmm. Mm, okay, a little bit too long, actually. Okay. Yeah, so what's going to happen here is we have different arches, right? So you only have to describe two ways for them. Okay, so what was the first one? It should be weather, right? Weather.
There's
First one was you mentioned natural arches, right? The natural arches is the general topic in here. Okay, so you have to go directly to the first one. So let's say after the so let's just say the lecturer or the professor explains the two. So whatever is the title here, you'll have to use it. So the lecturer or the professor explains the two ways that natural arches are formed. Okay, just really that one. So you will just use the title to be able to begin your introduction. Okay. Let's say here in before, so the professor explains how people are trying to reduce the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So you don't need to write it. You just have to listen carefully to the title or to the question. Okay. That's how you will begin. Okay. So what were the two ways that natural arches are formed? The first one was
low sand
blow sand. Was it? You mean eh,
or the wave beat rock. The
okay.
water. The water.
So the general term for that is the weathering effect.
The
Okay.
weathering.
Weathering effect. For example, blowing sand or frozen water, right? Because let's say um the let's say in the case of desert arches, right? Like the water sips to the rocks and freezes at night, and then water becomes ice, it expands and causes the rock to break off and forms arches. So that is weathering effect. So weathering effect is one way to make natural arches. So you have to give the other one, okay? It depends upon how you will, what do you call that? Because the first one is the coastal arch, okay? Weathering effect. So
Stone arch.
coastal arch, like arches that are near, like near water. Yeah, so that's the first one. So weathering effect. So if there's water, then it hits the arch and then forms a natural arch. Okay, so what we need is to highlight the two different ways and one example each. Okay, yes, all right. So let's try one more time the same question.
Okay, so the
Mm-hmm.
two ways. One is coastal arch.
No, that's an example.
Oh, the example.
Yeah. So the two ways is let's try to listen, okay? And then I'll explain to you what are the two ways, okay? All right, let's try to listen first.
Humans have been building arches ever since the time of ancient Rome. See here and here. I often wonder whether the Romans got the idea from nature, since there are naturally occurring arches. Anyway, in geology, an arch is any rock formation that has the appearance of, well, an arch. Natural arches usually occur due to the action of erosion. They mostly form along coastlines and in deserts. Here's a picture of a coastal arch. Coastal arches are formed by the force of water. They may be created when a headland is at around a 90-degree angle to the waves hitting the shore.
Okay, hold on. So the first example is coastal arch, okay? Because explain two ways that coastal arches, natural arches. So there are two natural arches, coastal and what was the other one? Desert
Weathering.
arches. Weathering effect is the process, how to make arches, okay, but not the kind. Okay, so coastal arch and desert
Desert arch.
desert arches. Okay. Yes. Okay, so you have to explain these two. So let's say for coastal arches, let's play back
Yes.
a little.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
I think my internet is not working here. Oh,
oh, that's okay.
it's okay. It's okay. It's totally
Oh,
fine. Okay, because my hmm? Here. Okay, hold on. It's not playing. Okay, okay. I got it here.
Humans have been building. Well, here's a picture of the waves hitting the shore. Now, a headland juts out from the main line of cliffs
Okay, let's go back a little bit.
along
okay.
coastlines and in deserts. Here's a picture of a coastal arch. Coastal arches are formed by the force of water.
Okay, force of
Of
water.
water.
Yeah, force of water.
They may be created when a headland is at around a 90-degree angle to the waves hitting the shore.
Mhm.
Now,
So that was too long, so you can say wave hitting the shore. Okay, that's just it.
a headland juts out from the main line of cliffs. Over time, the waves beat on the rocks until they wear it away, which
Mm-hmm.
forms a cave. When the waves erode entirely through the cave and break out through the other side, a natural arch forms.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes several arches form in a line, like this. Over time, many arches collapse and leave lines of what appear to be stacked rocks in the water.
Okay, the details after she explained, those were like you can skip those part. Like how only the part how to make a cave. That's the most important part. Okay. Then after that, we'll proceed.
The other main type of natural arch is produced by weathering effects,
Mm-hmm.
such as blowing sand and the action of frozen water. In
Mm-hmm.
deserts, blowing sand acts like a sandblaster, so over a long period of time, it can erode rocks to form arches.
Mm-hmm.
Another way desert arches form is due to water. Water seeps into small cracks in rocks.
Okay, let's stop a little bit. So we are talking here about the two ways. So we're not talking about the arches. So your answer will focus on force of water. Force of water, that's the first way. First way, yeah. Force of water.
Oh,
Force of water, wave hitting the shore. Okay. The second way, it was called the weathering effect, right? The blowing of the sand. Yes, and you will give an example for that. Okay. So you have to listen to the details on how they are formed and an example. So the example here is very long, so you have to get the main idea. As well as for number two, it was pretty long as well. Okay. All right. So I'll try to guide you. So this is how the examples that you'll be writing about. So what I want you to do, Vivian, is I will let you listen one more time and then well you'll try to present again. Okay?
okay.
All right. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's begin and good luck.
Humans have been building arches ever since the time of ancient Rome. See here and here. I often wonder whether the Romans got the idea from nature since there are naturally occurring arches. Anyway, in geology, an arch is any rock formation that has the appearance of, well, an arch. Natural arches usually occur due to the action of erosion. They mostly form along coastlines and in deserts. Here's a picture of a coastal arch. Coastal arches are formed by the force of water. They may be created when a headland is at around a 90-degree angle to the waves hitting the shore. Now, a headland juts out from the main line of cliffs. Over time, the waves beat on the rocks until they wear it away, which forms a cave. When the waves erode entirely through the cave and break out through the other side, a natural arch forms. Sometimes several arches form in a line, like this. Over time, many arches collapse and leave lines of what appear to be stacked rocks in the water. The other main type of natural arch is produced by weathering effects, such as blowing sand and the action of frozen water. In deserts, blowing sand acts like a sandblaster, so over a long period of time, it can erode rocks to form arches. Another way desert arches form is due to water. Water seeps into small cracks in rocks and then freezes when temperatures drop at night. When the water becomes ice, it expands, so it causes some rocks to break off. Over time, that can produce natural arches like this one here.
Using points and examples from the talk, explain 2 ways that natural arches are formed.
Okay, you have 20 seconds to finalize your presentation, Vivienne. You may start. Good luck. Okay, time's up. All right, 60 seconds. You may start.
The lecture explains 2 ways that can form the natural arch. First, coastal arch is usually formed in a coastline, and they are formed by the force of the water. The water will hit the shore so that the natural arch can form. And in the other example, the weathering effect is can form desert arch, and the blowing sand in the long period can erode the rock and become arch. In all the example, they explain why how the arch can form.
Okay, all right. A little bit better because you got the keywords. We just really have to, I think the last part you kind of slow down a little bit. Okay, so probably the ending part should be a little bit faster. Okay, like I think for the conclusion part, you are like taking your time, which is okay, but considering the time, we have to make a little bit of a speed effort. Okay. All right. But that's okay. You're able to get the jinx in here. Okay. All right. I think we can still have one more for this one. Is it okay, Vivienne?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Let me just share the screen. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here it is. Good luck.
Listen to part of a lecture in an environmental science class.
Okay, so what are some of the most effective public policies when it comes to fighting environmental problems? There are a lot of different approaches, but, and this is in my opinion, too often we underestimate how much can be accomplished just by appealing to people's sense of moral duty, to their civic duty. In other words, getting people to voluntarily stop polluting because, well, just because it's the right thing to do. These programs that try to get people to voluntarily stop doing things that hurt the environment are called moral suasion. Now, obviously, this type of approach won't be effective for all problems, but it will solve some. For some environmental concerns, moral suasion has been very effective.
Sorry. Can you hear it?
No, not now.
Not yet? Okay. Oh, it gets cut off here. I don't know why.
Okay.
This type
Oh.
of approach won't.
Okay, hold on. Let me try. Oh, okay. I think the internet is not doing good today. Let me try again. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. I think it gets cut off in the middle part. Okay, but hold on. Let me try. Um, okay, okay. Eh? Oh yeah. I think it doesn't play very much. Let me can we change the question or do we have some
Oh, of
time left?
course.
Sorry for that. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Let's try this one. Okay, hold on. Let me just okay, all right. Anyway, for the bear or for the smoky topic earlier, it might be too long as well. So we'll try to, play it faster. Okay. All right. So we have in here a different topic. I'm very sorry again, Vivienne.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes, let's try this one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let me just read first. So using points and examples from the top, you have to explain two ways of preventing food spoilage and why they are effective. Okay? All right, let's begin and good luck.
Listen to part of the talk in a food science class.
Everyone knows food can become spoiled, go bad, and become inedible. Usually the cause is harmful bacteria that grow naturally in food. So one of the best ways to prevent food from spoiling is to slow down bacterial growth. But how do you do that? Well, what influences how fast bacteria grow? Mainly its temperature and moisture. So if you want to prevent food spoilage, you need to slow bacterial growth by controlling these factors. Why is controlling temperature so important? Because the bacteria that cause food spoilage grow fast at warm temperatures and more slowly at cooler temperatures. When your food is kept cool, it lasts longer, right? For example, fresh fish left out in the sun on a warm day will spoil in a few hours. But if you freeze the fish, it will keep for months and months, right? Well, that's because low temperatures drastically slow down bacterial growth. Now, I said that moisture is another factor you need to control. And every living thing needs moisture, and bacteria are no exception. Food that's high in water content provides the moisture that bacteria need to grow. Let's compare two different kinds of milk, okay? Let's compare regular liquid milk with dried powdered milk. Regular milk spoils quickly, right? But milk in powder form can be stored quite a long time, in fact, for years. Of course, bacteria are present in powdered milk too. But what's different between powdered and regular milk is the water content. Powdered milk has had the water, the moisture, removed. And without moisture, bacteria can't grow. And this isn't true just for milk. Just about any fresh food will spoil more quickly than a dried food.
Okay, so yeah, using points and examples from the top, you have to explain two ways of preventing food spoilage and explain why they are effective. You have 20 seconds to prepare, Vivian. You may start. Good luck. Okay, time's up. All right, you have 60 seconds to present. You may begin.
In a food science class, the professor used two ways to explain how to prevent food spoilage. First, she mentions that one of the reason one effective way can control the food from spoilage is temperature. When the temperature more higher, the food will going spoilage fast. So the professor mentions the fresh fish. Fresh fish can preserve for a long time when they are frozen. And second, the moisture is the other effective to prevent the food spoilage. Okay. The professor used milk to, for example, to explain. Milk in the regular way will spoilage fast, but the milk powder can be preserved long because of the water content. For these two examples, is the professor use other professor name these two of ways can explain why the food can being prevent from spoilage.
Okay, all right. We took a little bit of a long time there, Vivienne. Yeah. Okay, so um how to answer this one? Okay, so using points and examples from the top, explain two ways. So the two ways is first, what was the
It's
first one?
temperature.
Temperature. What are we going to do with the temperature?
The temperature should become lower so that
Lower.
so that the food can preserve longer.
Okay, can be preserved. Yeah, it can be preserved longer. Okay, and the second one,
Moisture.
what are
Water
we going to do with the moisture?
the moisture should become lower, just
Lower.
like the water content should be lower.
On the powdered milk, right? That
Powder
was
milk.
the example. Okay. So the first example is you have to lower the temperature, like when you, what was the example there?
Lower
Fi-
temperature is
fi-
fresh fish.
yeah, fresh fish, right? So when you try to freeze it, yes, it, what do you call that? Lasts longer compared to when there is moisture or something, or it's in high heat or high temperature, right? For the second one, I think what you wanted to do or to say is about the removal of moisture, okay, for regular milk and powdered milk.
Powder.
Okay, so just try to focus on the examples in there. The last part is, I think you don't need to explain because it was already mentioned that it was effective. Okay. Yes. All right. But yeah, we have to be mindful with the minimal grammar lapses. Though you're able to practice the, the template, I think we need to work on with how to consistently, use them. Okay, so yeah, I think that would be it for our session today, Vivian. So let's try to discuss first what's going to happen in your class. So are you going to choose one teacher for speaking, or you'll
Yes,
have different teachers?
yes.
Ah,
In speaking, I will have one, and
mm.
in writing, I will have the other one.
Other one. Okay, I see, I see. But today I think we are still going to meet for
Yes,
writing, right?
yes.
Okay, yeah. So what's going to happen in our class is next lesson are we going to have like one task also, or do you want to practice like question one, two, three, four? What do you want?
Um, Maybe a time, a time for a task.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Ah, okay. So question one to four this time. Okay, I see, I see. All right. So yeah, I will if you're gonna book a different teacher, then I'll just try to let the teacher know that you want a different like a test, not a speaking practice. Okay. Okay, yeah. And for writing, we will just discuss later what we are going to do with writing. Okay? All right,
Oh,
but
I
yes.
want to
Sorry?
ask,
Mm.
receive, uh, do you receive my homework, the TOEFL writing?
From writing?
Yes,
From Teacher Ria, right?
yes.
Where did you upload it?
In the pre TOEFL writing file.
Huh? Do I have a file? A TOEFL writing?
In hold on, I
Or
screenshot.
probably on the wait, let me check.
Okay.
Did Teacher Ria make a folder?
No. Hold on, I send the screenshot.
Sure. Or maybe you uploaded it last week because I don't see anything on today's homework.
Uh, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's here in the picture. Send the picture.
And send it here.
Files. Um, okay.
Mm-hmm. Where?
I sent it
Okay.
in today's.
Today?
Uh,
It was for TOEFL writing, you mean?
yes.
Um, if you have a different teacher, I think your teacher has to check that one. Yes.
Because the
Uh,
last
uh,
I asked teacher Ria where
uh,
did I put the
uh,
assignment,
yeah.
and told me I can send
Uh,
to the writing class.
yeah. Uh, yeah, only if we are using the same book. Okay. But if we are not using the same book, then she has to check it.
Oh,
Okay. But in that case, I'll try to check it. I'll try to but I won't promise that I can check it today because I was only informed
wow.
today as
Okay.
well. I have other classes too,
Okay.
Vivian. Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll just try to check it because today we have a different setup for our class and
Okay.
writing. Okay, but it's okay. It's totally fine. I will try. I will just tell you later if I can check it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, but
Thank
later we will
you.
have a different discussion. Okay? All
Thank
right. So yeah, I'll just see you later for our 7 p.m. class. Vivian, thank you so much for joining me. And yeah,
you
I'll
so
see you
much.
later tonight. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye.